We're live. We're live. Here we go. Hi, Megan.
Hi.
Hi. Happy
How are you?
August. I'm good. How are you?
Really good.
Good. Good. Are your headphones purple or is it a glow is being cast on them?
They're pink.
Oh, they're pink.
Yeah, I
Nice.
was never into pink, and then all of a sudden, I've been really into pink. My desk is pink. I just got a treadmill that's pink.
Ooh.
My
I don't
headphones,
think I've ever seen
everything.
a pink treadmill ever.
I'll send you a picture.
How fun. How fun.
Yeah, I love pink all of a sudden. I don't know what happened.
I don't mind pink, but I'm not like a pink girl. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's funny because David always laughs at me and he says, he's like, you're high maintenance in the best of ways. Like, I like that you take care of yourself and that you do all the things, and he's like, but I'm just not a girly girl. Like, but I like to be pretty. And, obviously I wear jewelry, I
Mhm.
do my makeup and stuff, but I'm just not like, I don't know what the right, like, I'm not frilly girl,
Yeah.
it's just not
Yeah, I
my,
get that.
yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. So what's going on? We are at the end of the summer. Can you believe it? I mean, so
I'm so
fast.
glad.
Yeah, it's been hot. We actually,
Too
as
hot.
everyone probably knows, we had a hurricane in California last
Yeah.
weekend. So it was a lot of hype and not a lot of storm, but
But then an earthquake the same day.
in Ojai, they had
Yeah.
two 4.0s, which is substantial. Like the number 4 doesn't sound huge, but on the Richter scale, every point is exponential. And so
Yeah.
a 4.0 is a lot smaller than a 4.1, even though it's only a tenth of a point, it's exponential. So it's, yeah, as you go up. So a 4 is pretty big. But like when I lived in Alaska, we had sevens. Seven,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
it was, but
That sounds terrible.
everything there was built on like rollers, so it would just sway. It was just
Oh,
different.
okay.
They built the buildings, knowing that it was very active seismically because all the volcanoes and stuff, and the being out in the I was out in the Bering Sea, so it was just a lot of oceanic plate movement. So there was that. So anyway, I think, yeah, that was probably the first place I ever felt an earthquake because I was
Oh yeah,
there, but
because you were not from, I always forget that, even though I
yeah,
know you're not, but I
yeah,
just think of you as, like Southern California.
California, yeah. I've been here now longer than anywhere else in my life, so
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a busy week. We moved into our new office, and so we're just trying to get organized and doing that again, even though I just did that a year ago.
Yeah.
We're in the same building. We just keep moving locations because we're growing, our business is growing so much. And so we're constantly shifting things around and hiring people. And then we need to make space for, more people. And so Faith and I have moved to the upstairs of the second building, and we're just getting adjusted. And then that rain came, and of course we water damage, not in the new office, thank God, that we just had done, but so we're dealing with that. And it's always something. That's just life, though.
Yeah.
It's just life, because it did pour that day. I think it was Saturday or Sunday last weekend. Saturday, it just poured and poured all day long, way longer than can't. I have my phone there, and it's going to distract me, so I had to turn it face down because my brain is too spazzy for all of that. So what else you got going on? Anything?
Well, like I told you before we got on, I had to take Tums. I So this was my birthday month. I'm 36 now.
Woo! Happy
And
birthday.
I don't know, it's just funny because I never used to have issues like that. And all of a sudden I'm like, I have like burning in my throat. And Miranda's like, you need to take Tums. And it's happened to me a lot. So I'm telling you, I'm getting
Is
older.
it and you never had that before? Do the Tums help?
Yes.
Have you been eating anything in particular, like different?
No,
But
I
yeah,
guess I was drinking some juice. Maybe I don't know. I don't know.
like
But
an
either way, I
acidic
just think
one.
it's funny
Yeah. Because
that
it could be that. I mean, if it's an acidic juice like orange juice, or I can't drink orange juice. It same right to my
yeah. And
very
I love orange juice. It's like my favorite juice.
same with Coke. I can one sip of Coke and it's right in there that it's too much acid, but yeah, not I worked today and then we went out to lunch, David and I, and oh, it's delicious Mexican. It was so good. But I'm such a
I love
like
Mexican food.
I eat the same thing all the time, you know what I mean? So I had an egg burrito, even though it was lunchtime, but because I don't eat meat, if I'm gonna have protein, it's usually
Yeah.
eggs or sometimes I'll eat fish, but not been feeling it lately. So yeah, that was good, but it's kind of sitting, how Mexican food just kind of
Yes.
sits there,
It's
but
very heavy.
it is. It
Happy
is.
birthday. Stephanie said her birthday is Friday and her son's was yesterday.
Ah,
So
and
we're both
Meredith,
Virgos then.
yeah, Meredith was this week or last week. Helen's is tomorrow. Amy's is the end of the week.
Yeah.
Angel's is a couple weeks after that. So here it goes. Here comes the birthday roll for me. Like everyone in my life, it's like,
Yeah.
one
Kelly
after another.
said, oh, I hear myself. Why do I hear myself? Um, Kelly said, do we talk every day or just for work or just during like these times? I'm seeing the comments scroll past, so I'm trying to, answer some of the things. We talk at least a few times a week, sometimes
Yeah,
every day. It just
yeah,
depends on what's going on.
exactly. Kind of depends on if we're working on something, particular or, life stuff is going on. But we used to, I
Yeah.
don't know, like when you lived in California, we'd see each other once a week.
Yeah.
That was a good setup, but then you moved away from
I
me.
know. And now I'm like in a different time zone and everything.
I know. So, but, and same with Amy. I talk to Amy constantly because she's in a different time world than we are. And she doesn't sleep well like I don't. And so it seems like we're always around, you know what I mean? Like I'm up most of the night. And so I talk to her because she's up, it's her daytime. So,
Mhm.
it works out. But yeah.
When I wake up
Yeah.
at 5 in the morning, or no, 3 in the morning, 3 to 4 or 5, sometimes I wake up at that time and I'll read. That's like the only time I can read.
Yeah.
I'll message Amy because I know she's going to be up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's when we'll do our longest chats is like
Yeah.
that time.
Yeah. Because then like once 7 a.m. gets around, it's done. I'm done for the rest till about 5, like I'm
Yeah.
out of pocket because of my day job and just the demands of the house and stuff. And so it just, yeah. But in the nighttime, that's when I do my socializing. And so, so I finished the second book in the Brentwood Bombshells. So I'm on to the third one now, which I'm really excited about. Second one was a little harder for me. The story was just not flowing as easily as I would have liked. The first one was so easy. I just, blasted that one out. But I think the third one's going to be that way too. Just, I
Yeah.
connect differently with the characters. And I already know where this plot will go. So I'm anxious to get started, but having a little trouble focusing right now. So
You have one coming in February and then April. Do you have any other dates yet, or
no, they have not set the
Okay.
date for the other two. And the Accepting Agatha is up for pre-order. So
it is?
Yeah, you can peek at the cover. The amazing cover. It's not, seeing the cover versus, the little thumbnail
Yeah.
is a different experience, but God, those covers are so good. I've got to check in with Waterhouse and see if I can do cover reveal for them because I'm so excited for everyone to see the cover.
Yeah.
So
I was
amazing.
assuming, there's a lot of time still. We have to like do the cover reveal, do all this stuff, but
Yeah, you don't realize
That's
how
awesome.
far ahead I'm writing, for
Yeah.
really like whatever's going to come out in 2024, I've already written. It's already
Mhm.
done, and then yeah, so now then next two will be the fall like 2025, which is crazy. But that's how it goes with the
So
publisher.
exciting.
Yeah, when indie, you just do it, and as soon as it's done and you can get, edited and proofread and uploaded and all that stuff, you can go. So, but they have a
Yeah.
schedule they have to keep because they have, distributors and all that stuff they have to set up with in their schedule. So it's just a little different. Yeah. So
So exciting.
do we have a guest this evening?
We do. And actually, we've been making I've been making the guest wait because I'm evil like that. So I guess we should introduce them right now.
Bring them on. Let's see what we got going.
Okay. Tonight's guest has been in love with reading since the first day that she finished reading Hop on Pop by Dr. Seuss all on her own. The age of 5 was a momentous year. She not only fell in love with reading, but also fell in love with acting. She enrolled and participated in every class, conservatory, after-school program, and play she could possibly do. She won a theater scholarship to university and learned everything she could about acting in the theater. She ended up with a degree in English literature and dreamed of a job where she could one day combine her twin passions of reading and performing. As is so often the case, life led her down many paths, and one of them brought her back to acting. Only this time, she was acting and reading. Narration is truly her dream job, and she is lucky enough to do it. Included in the 15 years of training she has received, she has learned various forms and methods of acting, studied Shakespeare, script writing, theater tech, been a street mime, been on stage for numerous productions, directed a play and music videos, been in choir for 7 years, danced for 4 years, and mentored under an established narrator. She can
I
do
am not
various
worthy.
she can do various American, Southern, General, Midwestern, Australian, and British RP accents. When she is not spending time reading and narrating, she revamps and paints furniture. Please welcome Shiloh James.
And I have seen this furniture. It is good. Girl, where are you?
I'm here.
There you are. How are
saying,
you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Better now that I see your face.
Look, I'm so glad to see you. I was like, I want to hang out with you. This is so much fun.
I'll let the cat out of the bag. We're friends in real life, so we see each other a lot, and we have lunch all the time, and I get out of work and spend way too much time.
Yeah, well,
I never go back. You know that, like I just go home.
Do.
Like I'm done now. So I just go home. But I almost dragged David to the burger lounge today because I was like, it's been a while. I need a burger.
I was like, we've got to go. And so here's the funny thing now. I've gone vegan since the last time we had lunch together. And I'm laughing because I'm like, next time I'm having lunch with Victoria, she's gonna giggle because we're gonna order the same thing.
Yeah, no more meat on a plate for you.
No, I feel so bad too, because I usually order just this big old patty of and then vegetables on it. Yeah. But I feel so bad because you're vegetarian and you're sitting across from me watching me devour cow.
But I cook meat for my family every day. Not every day. I used to, but yeah. So it's not. I get grossed out like raw meat, and it's usually the smell, that copper smell. But
we could go down that alley, but I won't because I don't want to gross out.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So what made you do that? Health stuff or?
Well, so I did it kind of on a whim, but I had this suspicion all of a sudden that it was contributing, eating animal protein was contributing to my stuffiness and my creaky voice and causing problems with my asthma. So I decided to try vegan for a day or two and then add meat, how you do.
Yeah, sure.
And 100% it came back every time I added some kind of other animal protein. Now, for some reason, I can do collagen powder. So whatever
Yeah.
that is. So
Yeah.
am I too vegan? No. Am I doing it because I want to be better on the mic and breathe? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you mine, and it's not all dairy, which is weird, but the two of you know my stuffy nose all the time. But milk, oh, forget it. And it's not ice cream and not cheese because I exist on cheese, but anything else like that, like yogurt, pudding, anything else immediately. And like if I eat a bowl of cereal, of course, then I have wheat. So it could be wheat also, but instant stuffy, instant. So
That's really interesting. It could be something to do with that you're actually sensitive to casein or whey, because the way that it shows up in the products with the way they've been processed, there's generally more of one or the other.
Right.
So if you have like softer material like cottage cheese and yogurt and milk, you're going to have more casein, I believe. Then, and don't quote me, I mean, go look it up.
right.
But when you have like the other harder stuff, you end up with more whey. And it might just be you're sensitive to casein.
Interesting.
So lessons with Shiloh.
Yeah, right.
Let's talk about
So I didn't know that you were a street mime. What the hell is that? When did you do that?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Like
so
in Newport or something?
No, wouldn't that be cool? No, I did it in Poland. I did a lot when I was in Poland.
How funny.
I was there with a group and we laid bricks for the summer, and on the weekends and on our time off, we would go do like miming in the streets because we were theater kids.
Right,
And
right,
we're just like, let's go have fun. And so
right.
theater kids are like, what's fun? Being a mime. And so it was high school. It was the summer. I was like 17. So you're old enough there that you could just be an adult.
Right.
And yeah, so I did that. I
How
laid
funny.
bricks and I was a street mime. And then
Did
actually
you mime laying bricks though?
yes, I can, but I did not. But actually miming is what got me my theater scholarship. So
Interesting. How
yeah.
interesting. Like
I'm-
that was your performance to
Well, I did a monologue and then I did a miming performance, and they were like, wow, that miming was really good. We want you in. I was like, okay.
I'm
not to say
definitely
my
going to
acting
make
was
you
bad.
mime. Next launch, you're miming. That's it.
I can, no problem. It's not a problem. I was actually pretending that today because my friend has a cane. And so I was like miming, walking with a cane and then walking up the stairs. And then I was like, "Ah." What are you doing?
Oh my gosh.
I like miming. It's weird, but I like it. What can I say?
That's
I mean,
so
it's the face
funny.
paint, the whole thing.
Yeah. Wow. Did you have a striped shirt?
No, because I was cool. So
Damn it. It
I
wrecked
was
it.
too cool for the striped shirt. So I would just
Oh.
wear like normal street clothes.
It's so obvious, the striped shirt. So obvious.
Right? Like a person going like this and like white face
In white
paint
face.
and lips would like, that doesn't give it away.
How funny. Gosh, how funny. And so was it like busking? Like people give you money?
No, I
money?
didn't want it to. I was just like, just trying to spread my message of like love and harmony. I mean,
Through mime. Sorry, this is hilarious.
it's okay. I love myself too. There's times where I look back at my youth and I'm like, that was a thing I did. Okay.
I am actually crying. This is so fucking funny. Oh my God. You're killing me.
But it's true. And then we would get yelled at because we'd start singing on the job site at like 7 a.m.
Yeah. It's so
So I
funny.
mean, like, things you do when you're 17, right?
Well, so Caden was heavy into choir. And
Oh, yeah.
so, yeah, I was the house mom and then a choir mom for a long time. And I got so used to those kids performing all the time. They were always doing something musical, singing. They played instruments. He had one of those. God, what is it called? It's completely slipping my mind. It's a box and you can play different drums on a box.
Yeah, I
It's a-
totally forget the name too.
Yeah.
I was like a choir kid, but more theater. And so
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
yes.
he only did one performance. The theater director talked him into doing it was Hunchback. And so, yeah, but other than that, he stayed
Right.
away from theater. But choir, good times. I loved it. I missed it. I miss hearing them perform.
It's
But
so great. I miss choir. In fact, when I moved to where I live now, I joined the women's club of my town, and
right.
they have a choir. Now,
Yeah.
I was the youngest person because I was
Yeah. Well, your whole town, you're the youngest person.
in a women's club.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's usually much older retired women, not even recently retired women. We're talking women who've lost husbands and are lonely. And I
Right.
love it because I get to hang out with really interesting people. And, everyone's done by 11 a.m. So it's a good day.
These are my people.
Right?
It's
So
nap time.
I joined the choir, and we would perform at little places, and we do medleys of Mamma Mia, the
Yeah.
musical.
Yeah.
So it was a bunch of ABBA music.
I love ABBA.
The things
Just
I
heard
do.
that.
But ABBA is so much fun, and I learned the harmony to Dancing Queen, and don't ask me to do it now. But it
I
was
won't
just
put you
like,
on
there
top.
I am, like little young me.
Yeah. How funny. How funny.
Good news is I got to
So,
meet a lot of people.
yeah. Yeah. Are you doing that now still?
No, I don't have time now.
Yeah.
And I joined it because I was caregiving for my grandma at the time.
Right.
And I was trying to get her out of the house, but I forgot my grandma was kind of a snob. Loved her. She's my grandma, but she never met a more snobby woman.
How
And
funny.
so she was like, oh, I'm too good for this. And so women would come and talk to her, and I'm like gregarious and
Right.
genuine, and I
Yes.
want to play with people. And, my grandma's like, no, I'm fine. I'm
Yeah.
like,
How funny.
Grandma,
Rude. Grandma.
rude. She's
Yeah.
like, who cares? They're not, they're peasants. I'm like, you're a peasant. You're a peasant.
I don't speak to steerage.
Right? That was my grandma. I love her
Yeah.
very dearly, but like I could tell her this to her face if she was still here, and she'd laugh.
Yeah. How funny.
And she's like, yes, I know. We watched The Queen when she was alive. And she was like, this is how I'm supposed to live. Or
Yeah.
we'd watch Downton Abbey, and she'd identify with
the royals,
Maggie
right?
Smith. Yeah.
Yeah.
She'd identify with Maggie Smith, and she'd be like, that I understand her. And I'm like, Grandma, this is a character of cautionary tale. Like, she's not to be the one that you emulate. And
Right. That's so funny.
good idea of my grandma.
I wish I'd met her. I think I would have loved her.
You would have had the biggest kick at getting out of her. And then you would have looked at me afterwards like, I get it now.
So where does your mom fall in between you and your
That's
grandma?
my
Personality.
dad's mom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was my dad's mom. My mom's mom was the nicest woman you ever met. Like genuinely cool people.
Yeah.
She looked like me. I'm very similar to her. She was like my best friend. When she died, I was devastated.
Oh, yeah.
But she was like the kick in the pants. So I'll give you a funny story, and I don't know how many people are watching, but I don't care. She would laugh
That's what
at
we're here
this
for.
publicly.
Yeah.
She was the kind of woman that you'd walk into her house, and she'd be sitting with like an ice pack. She'd be sitting on it. And we'd be like, Grandma, why is there an ice pack between your legs? And she's like, well, my coochie was on fire.
Oh my God.
Okay. And then one time,
We might need to see a doctor about that.
Right.
Coochie
just
should not be on fire.
Like, and one Mother's Day, we come over, and Grandpa had died, and she's like, honey, can you help me with something? I was like, yeah, sure. What do you need? She said, so I reported this porno, and I don't know how to delete it. I was like,
oh my God. She recorded it.
She recorded it because she was curious, because she'd never seen one before. So
okay. She didn't film one like she was starring.
No.
Where my mind went, I'm like,
recorded it on
no.
the TV,
Yeah.
and she didn't know how to delete it off the TV DVR.
Yeah.
And I was like, Grandma, why are you watching porn? She's like, I was curious. She's like, it wasn't very good. I was like,
Yeah. I just,
Okay, Grandma.
I'm trying to think where I saw it. There's a porn site for it. It's like their branding is like porn made by women for women, and not necessarily all girl on girl stuff, which they have, Megan, but
Sure.
they
But
they
it's that woman gaze, the female gaze.
yeah. So is it, what do you know that? Is it called She or something like that? I can't remember what it
I
was.
so
I'm
little
curious
fun
if
secret about
anyone
it.
knows what that is I'm talking about, because I went back to find it because the little like thumbnails that I saw, I'm like, ooh, that looks good. But then I can't find it now. So I'm like, what was it?
We can find out for you. I know one of my friends prefers that. She and her husband prefer the female gaze porn because there's more of a story and women
Yes.
aren't blow up dolls.
Right.
They're more realistic.
Right.
I will tell you a secret about me. I don't enjoy watching porn. I have nothing against it.
Yeah.
I am very auditory.
Yeah, dude, the minute a girl starts, I'm done. It's all,
Right.
it's done.
Yes.
I can't.
I can't. And then watching, and then I'm like, I can tell they're not into it. So I'm
Right.
like, oh,
Right.
you're not into it. You're
Right.
just thinking like, I'm not, I can't, it's not doing anything. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes, I'm human and I'm like, oh, no, okay. But for the
Yeah.
most part, I'd rather read spicy or listen or even talk it on the mic
Right.
than watch people who are virtual strangers banging.
Right.
But
Right.
I have heard that a lot of the female gaze porn are actually people that are more real and are genuinely into each other.
Right. It's not like, I don't care about the way people look, like that doesn't, I
Right.
like, it's
Because
like
you're a
every
straight
woman,
body.
I like a buildup. You like a story because that's what we all, that's the woman brain. The men are very visual. The women want that, storyline. So I don't know.
Very true. And I think
Yeah.
that's probably why we gravitate towards romance novels in general.
Sure. 'Cause
Yeah.
and then you
we
can
love it.
have it going in your own mind and kind of fill in the blanks.
Right. Well, and it's so funny too, because when I'm with a partner, I see them as the main character. And,
Your
a
life
lot of
is
times,
just a book.
right. Well, because it's a book. And so I'm just like, oh, they are definitely 6'4" and dark haired and, muscular. And, my partner in real life, whomever I met at the time, is like short and fat and blonde
Right.
or balding.
Right.
And, but
Right.
I'm just like, yes, you were totally that person in my own mind, because I like to it helps fuel my desire and connection with my partner.
Right.
And then when I'm partner free, I just enjoy the story. It's almost like, oh, someone loves me. I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of sounds pathetic a little when I say it out loud publicly. But it kind of feels that way. And so even when it's audiobooks, I absolutely identify with the female heroine female main character. And I'm convinced that the male main character just adores me.
Right.
And then I stop the book and I go, okay, no, back to reality.
No, it's a book. Yeah.
It's just a book. But
it's been a long time, I'm going to be honest, that I've gotten that lost in a story, because now, unfortunately, this, I'm sure, especially for you listening to audio, for me, just storytelling in general. Now I'm looking at the craft so deeply that I have lost the entertainment factor of it, but it depends on my headspace. Like this week I've had a lot going on and I've listened to 4 books this week because I don't want to be in my own head. And so it's like book every time that I'm not actually having to engage with another live person, then I'm listening to a book, because I don't, I need to check out mentally. So it's just, but so Megan Quinn is my author du jour, because I always talk about what I'm listening to, and I love her. I love her.
Yeah.
She is so funny.
She's
oh my
very funny.
God. And then so I met her in Denver, Helen
Really?
introduced me to her. I had never met her in real life, and at that point had never even consumed a book of hers in any format. And so now I'm
Wow.
like, we gotta
Now
get
you're just
her
going through the
on. Yeah, we
backlog.
gotta get her
Yeah,
on Mystery Author Chat because I want to talk to her. She's
she's fantastic.
funny. Jesus, is she funny? I was
Mhm.
laughing out loud, I'm in the middle of
Mhm.
the night. I'm like, oh, sorry. Because I mean, I was busting up. The visual she had painted, it was so damn funny.
She's very, very funny. I quite enjoy Megan Quinn a great deal. I'm
Yeah.
listening to so I just came back from Steamy LitCon,
Right,
and
last
before
weekend.
that, Be Love, Spread Love. So I had cons back to back.
Right.
And um I had the true pleasure and of being an assistant to Zio Axelrod.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
She's been on our show before.
she's fantastic.
Yeah, she's a lovely human being.
Yes. But I'm now listening to one of her books.
Yeah.
And every time her books just grab me right
I've
away.
got to try something. I've never read anything of hers. So I think after my Megan Quinn binge, maybe I'll do Zio.
It'll grab you and just kind of go, "Ooh," you're gonna feel something, and it's gonna be beautiful writing, and it's wonderful. It can be kind of cathartic in a way. I will say too, I'm listening to 2 different books. Actually, I'm reading 5 books, but hazard of the job.
Yeah.
So I'm also listening to TJ London, The Turncoat.
Yeah.
The Turncoat. Hold on. Yes, The Turncoat. And I had to go through the series. What am I listening to right now? Which one?
Yeah.
And her books are so epic, and I'm always deeply involved. But I will say, and sorry, TJ, I have to take breaks because the stories are just gut-wrenching drama, and it's beautiful and epic and fighting and love.
Yeah.
And
But it's exhausting. Your entertainment is exhausting. Yeah.
it can be a little much. So I break it up with other books and then whatever I'm doing for work,
Yeah.
which, but it is a
So-
hazard of the job. I don't find myself getting lost a lot.
How, when you're reading to perform, how is it,
Mhm.
is the read different? Because then when the way you read for, I would assume it is. So walk me through that. Like, what do you
Through,
like
prepping.
scan? Do you just scan through, or are you like deep reading the whole thing, or like what's the
Yes
process there?
and yes.
Yeah.
So it depends upon if it's part of a series. Like I just finished recording the 6th book in the Broken Cross series by Bree Blackwood.
Right.
And by the time I got to book 5 and 6, I was very familiar with how she wrote. I was familiar with what the characters were going through. So I would just skim, and then I would pick sections and deep read. But if I know like a sex scene is up, I'd be like, okay, skim, skim, skim. Then let's look at the meat of the material. And then what I'd actually focus on is my male counterpart section as well. Because there's going to be characters that pop up in his section or expose on the story. There's going to be a lot going on that I'm not going to actually have in my sections.
Right.
So I do that. I used to underline every dialogue. I don't do that anymore. It's too much work.
Right.
But I do, I need to get the gist of the story. I need to understand the characters. So I'll do character breakdowns. Who's who, how are they related to the main characters? What is their personality traits? What kind of vocal traits do I want to assign to them? Are there any assigned in the book? Do they have an accent? So I break down all the characters, and then I have the basic plot points. Then I go through and I do this all in spreadsheets.
Right.
So another narrator taught me how, and it's been super helpful. But then I'll go through and I'll break down word count, page count by chapter, and then I know based upon how many words, so I can get through 10,000 words a day comfortably.
Yeah, so you can pace yourself, right?
Right. So I understand, and then I'm set. So that's how I prep a book.
Yeah. Yeah. No, thank you for sharing that. It's just a different process for everything. Like when you sit down to read, do you ever feel like you're not forgetting something, but like you're not doing a book the right service if you're not doing all those extra details. You're like, I'm just going to read this book. I'm just going to read
Yeah,
it. Then you're like,
I
I
do.
feel like I should give it more.
Well, I know quite a few narrators, particularly the male narrators do this, in general. Not all of them, so I'm not, they don't prep it really in the sense that they're not reading the book. They'll prep
Right.
in other ways. Prep encompasses so many things, including getting with your co-narrator and going over voices and the gist. But there's some benefit to having that element of surprise, because then you have a genuine emotional reaction when you come across parts of the story that are surprising or
Right.
interesting, or
Right.
you have that emotional reaction. But I'm from the point where I don't need to be surprised at this stage of the game.
Right.
I'm good with that. I'd
Right.
rather dig in my acting skills and be like, I am surprised,
Yeah.
but
This is my
do it
first.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I personally feel like, oh no, I'm flying by the seat of my pants if I've not read the book. So I've not done that.
Right.
Who knows where I'll be in 5-10 years.
Right. Right.
But today,
Yeah.
that's not a smart move,
Right.
So
Yeah, I had this good question I was going to ask you and I forgot it. It's
totally
gone.
forgot it.
It'll come back. It'll
Okay.
come back to me.
Yeah.
So, well, this is so cool. I have no idea time wise because I know you and I just chat. So we have
It's
to
only
keep our
6:38. We're
yeah.
fine.
So
That's
no,
fine.
I'm just because then we take questions from the
Oh.
people that are watching. So we need to make sure we give them enough time to do all that.
You can talk more about
Woo!
my grandma.
Yeah. Oh, there's plenty to talk about, I'm sure. I don't know. So I have oh, I know what I was going to say.
Okay.
The last book I listened to, I was bawling. And I wonder what is the general thought, and I don't know, maybe it's as individual as every narrator, about a narrator crying while they're narrating.
I
Is
think
that like unprofessional, or is that like, damn, you're getting in there, or you know what I
yeah,
mean? Is
it
you can
really
tell
depends.
when I can tell when a narrator is legitimately crying when they're talking. You know what I mean? It's different than
Can you?
I mean, you can tell when someone is sounding like they're crying.
Yes.
But sometimes when someone is really crying, you're like, God, oh shit.
Yeah. Yes. So yes. I would say it depends upon the script, but in general, I mean, I've cried on a script, and as long as you are clear, that's a good thing. You need to make sure that the narration doesn't necessarily call, or is it calling for it? So if you're crying and the dialogue needs that, but the narration needs less of that, you kind of have to pull in and out of it.
Right.
But in general, yes, I have cried on a couple books.
Yeah.
And it works. And it's as long as you're playing the intent, as long as you are being the story, being this, performing it in a way that is authentic and being vulnerable on the mic. If you cry, great, just be clear.
Right.
If the story calls for it, great.
Yeah.
I personally, as a listener, prefer it when I hear the emotions. And I know some narrators prefer to be removed from the script and let the script shine more.
Right.
Others like myself are like, let's get messy with it.
Right.
Let's perform the crap out of this script.
Right.
And it's a preference thing and how it goes. But as long as the story is being done justice, the intent is being played, and then yes, cry away. Do it.
Right.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So it's like, go with it and see how it works out. Not necessarily like, okay, I'm prepping this book. Here, I'm going to cry. It's just like,
that
do
can
it.
be part of it, actually.
Yeah.
Because just like if you're performing on stage or in front of a camera and your character needs to cry, you better be crying. So
I don't know how y'all do that. I cannot cry on demand. Can you just start crying, Megan, for no reason?
No,
No, me either. I
I
can't.
can
And I know
barely
some-
cry when I need
Yeah,
to.
you're right. I just
Well,
sit there like, people are like, you all right? Oh, I'm fine. I don't see what
Yeah.
the whole deal is going on here, but okay.
well, I can if I really try. I'm not gonna right now, but
Yeah. No, I
um,
would not make you do that.
thank you.
Okay.
It's part of it. The trick is, and this is something that I'm discovering as I'm going through this journey, um, is that as an actor, you really do have all the emotions at the surface. And so because a lot of that is you have to know when to be incredibly vulnerable and do what the script is asking you to do. Give truth to the words in front of you. And in
Right.
order to do that, you really do have to access emotions that are very much on the surface. So having to then learn how to put in those layers to go about your daily life is also part of the process of acting.
Right.
I think a lot of people forget.
Sorry, keep talking. I'm listening.
I was going to say, I think a lot of people kind of forget that narrators are actors on the mic. And, that's part of my journey too, is that how can I be more vulnerable? How can I pull off more layers? How can I be telling the truth more?
Right.
What can I give to this piece? So, oh, little babies.
Hey,
Oh,
Gibby. He was no keyboard though, dude. He was crying
why
at the
did
door and I could just hear him, and I was like, all right, I've got to let him in or he's just gonna
He's
keep
so
so glad you
cute.
did.
disrupting.
Cute. I love it. Little cutie.
Here's Gibby. You wanna say hi to everybody? Say
Oh
hello.
my gosh.
He's just purring and purring. I haven't seen him all
So
day. He
cute.
sleeps all day, so he just got up. Right?
Nice. I love it. Yeah.
So, do we have questions, Megan?
We do. There's so many. I feel like we're not going to get to them all, but that's okay. You can always
Do
go
our
back through
best.
and
That's right.
answer some in the chat. But I have a question. Shiloh, do you have, my old roommate was a narrator and she had like the thing in her bedroom. I don't know what it's called, but it's like a
booth.
big box, the booth.
Yeah,
the
booth.
booth.
Yeah.
Do you have
do.
that or do you record somewhere else?
No, I have a booth. I'm staring at it. I'm not going to show you guys because my office is a combination furniture painting room, quilting room, and audio booth room. So I do a lot in this space. And I don't want to show you it all, but yes, I have a booth.
That's so cool. I always thought she had the coolest job. She does romance books, but she also does like video games and stuff like that.
Oh, very cool. I love voiceover acting. That's great.
We're gonna do Shiloh and I are gonna do something on camera, like her, narrating, just so, because everyone knows how, into audiobooks I am. So it's neat to have a friend that is, doing that for a living and just get to see that side of it. I'm very curious about the process, like just observing the process,
Yeah. I message you and I'm like, I'm free this week. I'm doing it this week.
Yeah.
And one of these days you'll get in the booth with me.
Well,
It'll be
one
fun.
of these days, our
Yeah.
schedules will match up. I think the last time David was out of town and I just could not be away from the office. So it'll happen.
We'll do it. It'll be good. I got some stuff coming on. I can also just have you sit in on auditions and I can just read something to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's a fun process. I enjoy it. It's a good time.
Okay, let's do a few of the questions before we run out of time. Becky wants to know, Shiloh, what is your favorite accent that you do?
RP. So British RP. Let's see if I can do it. I have to kind of think about it, but I do love doing a British accent. It's a bit harder, but see there, I went Australian. That's actually the easiest one for me, is to go Australian, but British RP is my favorite.
And British RP, that's more like a guttural.
It's more unfortunately, it's class-based there. So if you are better educated or wealthier, this is considered the standard accent that you would hear on the BBC.
Oh, right.
So yes.
Interesting.
Anyway, there you go.
Yeah.
My favorite accent.
That was awesome. I love that. Okay.
And
what
just
do you
like
do?
all of a sudden it's something else. You're like, how do you do that? I always
I
think,
know.
no offense, but I think actors are a little crazy. I think
We
there's
are
just,
we're a little
there's
crazy.
just a little unhingedness for actors, because the way the
Yeah.
flip-flopping into completely different things, it's like, you okay? I don't know.
Well, I mean, but we're genuine. I mean, you know me, I'm not
Yeah,
an
no,
erratic
it comes from the
person.
best part, the best place, but
It's
just,
more like we just don't care that we're afraid that people are going to laugh at us.
I think that's it. You have a real free spirit, and I tell you all the time, I love being around you. Your energy, it just, it makes me very happy.
Thank you. Likewise. All right. Do we have more questions? Because I'm like,
Yes.
ooh, these are good.
What do you do to prepare for narrating? Any special drinks or warm-up routines?
100%. Yes. So I do a little bit of Linklater vocal warm up, which is a lot of relaxing the body, moving the body. Because you really got to make sure that your shoulders and neck are not tense, as well as the rest of your body. Where am I breathing from? I'll do vocal warm-ups. Rose Dioro, who is a narrator, is fantastic. If you guys follow her on Instagram, she's got great tips and tricks on her reels. Watch it. She's actually one of my coaches that's been helping me with that. And then for drinks, I will make sure I drink a lot of water. But I also make sure that there's electrolytes in it. So whether that's a little bit of sea salt or an actual electrolyte powder, I like Kinder Light. I'll drink that, and then I'll have licorice tea there that I will do. So to make sure that I'm minimizing mouth noises and I'm as hydrated as possible, my throat isn't as creaky, because that's actually kind of my signature. I have a bit of a creaky voice, but I want to kind of minimize it.
Right.
I don't need it to be creaky all the time. There you go.
What happens if you're not feeling well? And you know what I mean? You're stuffy. Is the whole day shot?
Yes, absolutely. Because readers can hear it.
Sure.
You can hear when somebody's not well.
Right.
One of the things that I was taught early on is that the mic hides nothing. In fact, it reveals everything. So in person and on stage, you can kind of hide and compensate if you are dealing with something. Now, your voice will show every emotion. It will translate every sniffle, everything going on. So if you can't get your head into a good space, don't record that day. Put it off until your head's in a good space.
Right.
You can't get your body going, and there's times where I've pushed it and I shouldn't have. You can't. Just accept that you can't and do other work, because our job isn't just on the mic.
Sure. I mean, that it's the same, like for me, not every day is a story coming out of me. I can't, it's not there. It's not, and I will not force it. I will not do it, because I end up having to just can it all anyway. So those are the days you do other things, pack up boxes, or, I would say do social media, but that's what Megan does. So, I look at it sometimes, but but same thing. I can't, if it's not there, it's not there.
Right.
And sometimes it's just not. When it starts going longer than a few days, then I start, like, what? I got to get my head on straight here and, figure out why I can't get this story moving. But otherwise,
there are things that you have to do.
That took a while to like give myself that permission to be like, you know what, I'm not going to write today. There's nothing happening for me. So.
Right. Well, and we don't necessarily have a while. We have deadlines just like everyone else. Sure. So there are times where I'm like, okay, I need to get into gear quickly. So I'll do things like ride my bike, jump on the trampoline, whatever I can do to get my mood boosted. If it's a mood problem, fix that real fast. Or if it's a health problem, then I go, okay, if I can't record today, I'm going to have to record on X, Y, and Z day. How do I get it to rest? Because you don't want to push your throat. You don't want to push your voice and damage yourself.
Right.
And you want to give the best performance that you can to a piece. So I try to build in buffer days into my
Right.
schedule.
Right.
Mhm.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Look how cute.
Okay, there was a few questions about the mime stuff. Everyone loves that. Do you list mime on your resume, and do you still do miming? That would be really cool to see.
I guess I do list it apparently on my resume. I had forgotten I put that in there. So there's a little gym that I got
It's
unearthed.
like noting change bio
Yeah.
today.
Gotta fix that. But yeah, no, I don't still mime. I just do it for fun. And I should probably
Is that your party trick?
No, I have other party tricks. But I am the party. That's my
You
trick.
are the party. It's very true.
But yeah, so I do enjoy miming. So I mean, I do basic things like a cup and like what are you gonna do and different things, but it's nothing special like before. So yeah.
Okay, how long does it usually take to record a whole book?
It depends. Always depends upon the word count. So if an audiobook if I have 4 or 5 finished hours in an audiobook, then it's going to be, I'll block out about 4 days. So I try to get about 1 finished hour per day, right now. So now I'm a newbie though. So keep that in mind as I get further into my career, that's going to be faster.
What do you think someone, these guys that are recording 400 books a year, what's their day? How many?
So I know a couple, I know, for example, that I know a couple narrators that have been doing this for 10 years and they can go 8 hours in the booth per day. I can get about 3 or 4 in the booth. But I'm building up stamina. There really is something to it because you're sitting for a long time.
Right.
You are performing, you're mentally turned on the whole time.
I can just imagine how exhausting it would be.
It's very tiring, and you have to do a lot so that you are physically able to do it.
Right.
And
There's
mentally
conditioning.
able. Yeah. And so I'm working the stamina up to that level. But, some people never do. Some people go, I don't want to spend that much time in a booth.
Right.
Others, they definitely want to. So I would say the ones that are recording like 100 books a year are in the booth about 8 to 9 to 10 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
If that helps you guys.
Yeah. Because I'm thinking it's like, if you think about how exhausting it is, it's not just reading. It is interpreting and then giving back out. That's a lot. That's a lot of a process when you think about it. Reading, absorbing, interpreting, putting back out.
Yes.
That's a lot.
And then you got to act. So not just what you're saying, but then you got to perform it. Then you got, it's a lot. And kudos to my fellow narrators that can go that long. I look forward to doing that in the future. Yeah. But, I also believe that you should build in rest, because if anything I've learned over the last 20 years is that if you don't rest, your body will fall apart. Your mental state will fall apart. And at the end of your life, you want to say you had a life. You don't want to say, look what I did in my career.
Yeah. You don't want to say I had a job, right?
Right. And your career might be awesome like mine, but that cannot be your whole world. Right. And so learning to breathe, learning to rest, learning to do other things is important. Right. Within that 8 hours, I think is pretty good. I know someone who literally does it 9 to 5. And that's perfect.
Right. Crazy.
Okay, let's do one more. One for Victoria and then one more for Shiloh. Then we'll do the giveaways because it's already 9:56.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, Shiloh, any good bloopers while narrating? And do you just how do you just stop, and how do you do that?
Yeah, so I punch and roll, which means I blooper a lot. Oftentimes I'm messing up words or a sentence or a phrase. and and then I go back and I punch and roll, which means you go back to where you messed up a little before that, you cut in and you re-record over it. So I never end up having recorded bloopers. I will say I just did a duet erotica short story with Marcio Catalano for Sandra Sigvason. She has a new like anthology of erotica short stories. So he and I were doing it, and he was feeding me lines in the booth. It helps make it sound more authentic when you can play off of each other. And he was help directing me, you know, good guy. And one line, it was so funny. I had to say, "No, sir, how hard are you?" Right? And it was in a very intense moment, let's say, of the story. And you know, he kind of helped me say it over and over and over. And
Right.
you know, finally, when I get to the right part, I say it right, and he goes, "Ooh." we start laughing so hard because we're like, and our friendship just got awkward.
Yeah. How
So
funny.
I enjoyed those kinds of moments. But in general, it's me going, "That's not what they said. There's no flibberty gibbet here." You know?
Right. Right.
So yeah.
What is the hardest? Do you have a word that comes up over and over that you are like, oh, please no? Like, you know, there are words that are so difficult for me. Conscience, I struggle with that.
Hard. Yeah.
Maybe it's the meaning of the word. I don't know. And so, you know, do you have like words that you're like, I don't want to say that?
You know, I'm sure I do. More often than not, it's a combination of words. So, like, if because authors, you guys love alliteration, which is fantastic when you are eyeball reading it.
Right.
But
Right.
when you're trying to say it naturally, it comes out really messy.
Right.
And it can get mush mouth, and I've run into some problems where I've said some words. Other times it's trying to do button, if it's the same word over and over. So like unbutton the top button of his button down, and it starts to lose meaning.
Right.
And so those kinds of things. But in general, it's a combination of words. So not one word in particular yet, but rather, how do I then say this so that it flows well?
Right. It's typically though a good editor will pull that. That wouldn't be in the,
Sure.
you know what I mean? Like point it out, like too many buttons here, you know?
Yeah, but you know, there's a difference between, there really is a difference between writing for audio and writing for eyeball reading.
Right.
And
right.
that is really what we come into. And there's no shade or anything on either. It's my job to make it sound good. I don't care if it's hard.
Right.
That's fine. But there's it's a combination. And of course I can't think of anything. Next time
I'll tell you,
something,
I did.
Right.
I wrote something and I felt so guilty for it when I heard it was Zach Weber narrating it, and it was truck stop shot glasses.
That's mean.
I know. And I'm like, I would never, like now, I would never do that because it's so difficult. But it was funny. It was a funny little comment, you know, and I wasn't thinking about how difficult that was going to be for someone to say. And then I heard him say it and I was like, oh, you know, because he kind of really had to slow down, and it probably was something he had to pick up a couple times.
You have to definitely punch that, because that is the trick though, is to slow it down.
Yeah.
And it's really truck stop shot. Wow. That's mean.
Yeah.
Yes, that's difficult. That's difficult.
Funny.
Okay, for the last question, Victoria, I thought this was a good one because I feel like maybe not everyone was here to hear about it. I haven't been on Facebook for a while. Can you tell me more about the new series you're writing and when it's coming out?
Yes. So the news, it's newish. It's a spinoff of Shark's Edge, and it's called Brentwood Bombshells, and it is 4 standalones. And it is Hannah. Hannah was Elijah's heroine and now wife. It's her sisters. So there's 5 of them total. and the guys within the story, they just started calling them, because they're all blondes, the bombshells. And then they just, shortened it to the bombs and stuff, because it was getting hard to keep them all straight, and they're really close in age. And it just lent itself to kind of a new entry point for the series. So if someone is like, hey, I like the look of this series, but I don't want to get into 11 books, you can warm up, with something with these stories. But so they're in the same world. They have nothing to do with the suspense story of Shark's Edge. They're just characters that we've met there. So the first one is Accepting Agatha, and that is Hannah's. So Hannah's the oldest, and then Agatha, and then the twins, May and Shepherd, and then the last one is Clemson. And so that's the order they'll go in. And I know we have dates on the first two on Agatha and May's books, and those are already written and through edits and all that good stuff. And I'm on the Shepherd right now. So
Yeah, get it.
yeah, so it was a total recalibration of my brain, because I just came out of an 11-book suspense series, and now I'm doing standalones. It's just a whole recalibration. Like, I've got to get an entire plot into 65,000-70,000 words. It's very hard for me because I'm used to it stretching out across 11 books. So
Right.
So yeah, but they're good. The covers are out of this world. They're just incredible. But I don't have permission yet to release them. So as soon as we do, we'll get them up, because they're really beautiful. I think I showed them to you, Shiloh, didn't I?
You totally did. And I'm
Yeah.
very excited about this series in particular, because it is something new and different for you, within the safety of the world that you built. But I'm excited to see how you do it, because I imagine for you, this is much like having to try to write poetry or a short story and getting it into this shorter novel. But your stories are so good, and you're an excellent writer, that I'm like legitimately excited, and you guys are going to love these covers. Love them.
Yeah, they're gorgeous. They're just mind-blowingly gorgeous. But and so it's fun too, because this is the best time to like play with tropes, so it's like Accepting Agatha is oh God, I don't even know what trope is that considered, because it's so well, we know in Shark's Edge that she and Carmen got married on a drunken night in Vegas. So this is their story now, trying to make a go of it.
Trope.
Yeah, so fun. And then
I call it the oops, I'm married trope.
May's book is age gap, professor student romance.
Love me a professor.
Yeah. And Shepherd, I haven't written yet, but she's got a lot of trauma. She has trauma like Hannah did. And so that one's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a little more into not mental health, but I guess, because there'll be probably PTSD and just some victim stuff that from child abuse, sexual abuse. So
dang, girl, I like that you don't shy away from that.
Yeah, that's what this one will be a challenge, because again, being in one story and covering all of that and doing it justice and doing it respectfully for all the people that have experienced it for real, it's a real fine line. So I
know you're going to give it justice. It's going to be beautiful.
And then Clemson's, I haven't figured out what her trope is going to be yet. So, because she's young, she just graduated from high school. So it might just but it might be like a coming of age, which will be fun. I've never written anything like that. So how fun would that be? So
that would be really fun.
So that's a very long answer to what those books are.
So that'll be February and April of 2024. Kelly is so cute. She's like, I need to start pimping these books as soon as possible. I love her. Okay. Okay, so let's do our giveaways.
All right.
What are you giving away, Victoria?
I can give it's still the same. I have everything except for City Hall, but I
Okay.
do have, this book is coming out on Tuesday.
Yay!
It's not fail to mention. It's release day for the last book in the Shark's Edge series. So a little bittersweet, but it's always nice to wrap up a series. I'm telling you, you know, just having that accomplishment and feeling like,
That's huge.
yeah. And so I
Congratulations.
did send out a bunch of copies. So I'm hoping that the gals that got those have read it and enjoyed it and have reviews ready to go up on release day for me. I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So whatever,
Yes,
reader's
get
choice,
those-
really, outside of City Hall.
Get those reviews in. Okay, and Shiloh, what about you?
Well, I can give away a code to my very first audiobook
Oh, fun.
qualifier, very first audiobook, but it's a really fun, it's a fun adventure. It's dark, twisted fantasy or fairy tale, a retelling of Snow White in a series in a dark, twisted fairy tale world.
Yeah.
I would not say that it's kind of a cliffhanger in the sense that you want to read the rest of the stories to figure out the bigger story,
Right.
but it's a reverse harem, and it's a happily ever after for her-ish in this story. So I'm happy to give away one of those codes, and I can do UK or US.
Awesome.
Okay, so for Victoria, it's Cindy, and for Shiloh, it's Stephanie. So
Hi.
Amy will reach out to you probably tonight, and we'll get that going for you guys. So
Thank you. Congratulations, winners. I'm having a hot flash. I made it through this whole thing without one, and now I'm getting it. You can see I'm getting all dewy.
Oh no, they're the worst.
Yeah, God. But anyway, we're not getting back into that. Be here for another hour. All right. Thank you. Thanks for joining me, my friend.
This was so much fun. Thank you for having me on here, guys.
My pleasure.
What an adventure. And anytime I get to hang out with you, Victoria, is a good day for me. So I'm energized
Same.
now. I'm ready to continue and go eat some dinner.
Nice.
The mushroom burger.
Oh, that mushroom burger. Dude, the mushroom melt at Goat and Vine.
Really?
We should go
Okay,
there.
girl, we may need to switch places now.
So fucking good.
All
And
right.
it's on a pretzel. Oh, all right.
All right. Well,
all
it was a
right,
pleasure.
bye.
Thank
Bye.
See you
you.
guys next month. Bye.